Welcome back. I'm Friar Tuck, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about getting to know your animal and how to maintain a service animal. Whether you have it when you first get out here or you pick up a stray like I did. Now, if you pick up a stray like I did, there are going to be you're going to want to do your own bit of forensics. So let me kind of give you some examples about Sam. Okay, so when I met Sam, she was just circling the parking lot. She was looking for someone. I think she was looking for her owner, and that was the first red flag that popped up in my head and made me, kind of pay attention to her, see what was going on. It's because she was searching frantically. But the thing is it makes me wonder. It's like, why would an owner leave? If she was traveling, why would somebody leave her just at a gas station and just walk off? It's like leaving your child behind. You don't leave your child on top of the car and drive off. If you're not aware of your child, then you probably shouldn't be having that child to begin with. Okay, and with Sam, I've got to be extremely aware. So, that was one thing that I noticed, and she was going around, she was scavenging, she was eating anything and everything she could off the ground. Now, when I first got her, she was just like a bottomless pit. But now that I've made sure that she's properly fed, she actually turns down food. Like, she doesn't really want to eat human food because she likes the dog food that I give her, because it's like that Purina, like pure beef, so it's like beef chunks in it. She prefers that over human food, and so she turns down human food more often than not now because she's being properly fed. Okay, and so that was one thing that tells me that she had been out there for more than 24 hours because of the way in which she was just gobbling down anything and everything she could eat. It was like a bottomless pit. And the thing is like for a couple of days though, she didn't even do a number two, which really kind of concerned me, because that's one of the things that I do is I watch her stools, because that's telling me, does she have digestive issues? Is she getting enough water? Is she getting enough food? How often is she going to the bathroom? Is she sick? Is she this or is she that? And these are things that you need to learn about your dog. So what have I learned about Sam? One of the other things I've learned about Sam is that I think that she was previously owned by a female, because females are going to be the one that go out there and get color-coded collars, because she's got a pink collar. It's one of the distinct features about her that if somebody were looking for her, they would know her by that collar alone, because I wouldn't go get her. I would have gotten her a black collar or a brown collar or whatever. I would have never gone and got her a pink collar. Most guys aren't going to do things like that. So that tells me that she was owned by a female. The other thing that also tells me about her is that every time we see children, she gets super happy. It's almost like she was with, that she was in his family. Okay, and this is also why I think that she may have been gotten rid of or dropped to the side of the road, because I can only speculate on why it was done. I can never really tell you what was done. And also, for those of you that keep telling me that she's chipped and stuff like that, I've looked for scars, I've looked for tattoos, I've looked for anything that would give me an indication that she would be chipped. Because quite frankly, the first night or two, because I barely got like 4 hours sleep each night for the first couple nights, which for me, that messes with my brain chemistry. And that is just something that I could not handle very well. And I'm still kind of trying to rebalance my brain chemistry, because I don't really get as much sleep with her as I used to by myself, because of how anxious she is. But again, I saw every time she sees children, man, she gets super excited, as if she had a family of her own. Sam, get over here. Sam, come here. Lay down. Be a good girl. Thank you. And so I think that she had a family. Okay, now here's the other thing that I've noticed about her, because she likes to, in the mornings, if I don't play with her and do the tug of war and stuff like that, she gets really rambunctious and unruly throughout the day. She likes to chew. When I first met her, she wanted to chew on my leash, or not on my leash, on my shoes. She tried chewing on other articles of clothing, and that's when I took one of my shirts, tied it up, and gave it to her so that she would not, destroy my stuff. So possibility is that she may have been a chewer, and she may have destroyed enough stuff. And with inflation and everything else that's happening, that it could be very expensive. I mean, she's almost chewed through her leash already, and I'm gonna have to buy her another one. And it's been maybe 4 or 5 days that I've had this leash on her. So that is something that I'm working with her on, is to be able to calm her down enough. But also it requires that I play with her. But the thing is she likes to nip and she likes to bite. She's actually almost drawn blood on me a couple of times. While we were playing around, she went to chomp on the shirt that I gave her, and she caught my leg in it, and I've got a nice little bruise or welt or whatever you want to call it there. And it's and it reminds me, when I was a kid, I was a teenager, my grandma, she ended up getting a golden retriever, and my uncle Mike, we kept telling him to stop roughhousing with the dog and stop roughhousing with the dog, but he kept roughhousing anyways because he's just a douchebag. And eventually, because he roughhoused with the dog and we couldn't get her to calm down, because she acts a lot like Sam does, as far as just the constant, like, she just wants to chew and she wants to bite, but she's doing it in a playful manner. At least from her point of view, she's doing it in a playful manner. But the thing is she, my grandma ended up having to get rid of the dog because of the fact that she started biting the grandkids. And no matter what, Uncle Mike would not stop roughhousing with the dog. So we had no choice but to get rid of the dog. And that was one of the things that really, really angered me as a kid, because I worked really, really hard, to undo what my uncle was doing to her, and teach her that, yes, there's a time for calm and there's a time for not calm. But, she is who she is, and she's going to do what she's going to do, and he was going to do what he was going to do. So my thought is that, there are various reasons why people can get rid of their dogs, okay? And this is why you kind of need to get to know and get to understand your dog, especially if you pick up a stray, because, out here, this environment is more stressful, especially with the amount of stimulation, especially if you're not used to all the stimulation. Because I think she was an inside dog. She really didn't go outside very much. Just based upon some of her mannerisms and the stuff like that. But that's also why, because when I first met her, I thought that she was a runner, because like she was able to walk 20 miles and keep going. But that was just the anxiety from the situation, the anxiety from being out here, and all that other stuff. But I'm learning how to channel her energy, and also to give her the necessary attention that she absolutely needs. So she may have bitten one of the children one too many times, and they may have just gotten frustrated, because I know I got bit by a cat, and I wasn't going to tolerate it. And this was at a time when I was a little bit less humane towards creatures of nature than I am now, because I felt guilty afterwards. But I'm not gonna, the average human, the average person is not going to keep an animal that is going to turn on them, that is going to do harm to them, regardless of what happens. I had to go get a tetanus shot and get sewn up because of where the cat bit me. It bit me right in my wrist, which is where there's an artery, and I was bleeding like you wouldn't believe. I had to go to the emergency room, get a tetanus shot, get cleaned out, whole 9 yards. Okay, so with an animal, you need to get to know what it is, especially if you're picking up a stray, because there are reasons why they were gotten rid of. There's also other reasons. When I was a kid, my mom, because we were moving from one place to another, we couldn't take the dog with us. Ask yourself this question: with the skyrocketing prices of rent, okay, and you have an opportunity to get into a lower rent, or a lower cost of living, or especially with inflation, the cost of dog food, the cost of medical care, the cost of replacing everything that the dog destroys, plus the biting and stuff like that. You got to ask yourself, if you had a place where you could save a couple $100s a month on rent, but they wouldn't take your dog because some places accept certain dogs, other places don't accept certain dogs, and so therefore you're playing Russian roulette trying to rent a place. And you're playing Russian roulette. And so would you choose to keep a roof over your head and get rid of your dog, or would you get rid of your dog in order to keep a roof over your head? Are you willing to go homeless because you can't find a place that will accept your dog? And see, this is the thing that I keep trying to tell people, is everybody looks at me and goes, well, you need to get a place. Well, in the same thing, you have to be able to you have to be able to make your own decision and be able to live with that decision. And most people will get rid of their animal to keep a roof over their head than they would be willing to sacrifice a roof over their head to keep an animal. Okay, so there are various reasons on why she could have been dropped off. I mean, yes, she is a nice dog. She is a great dog. She's very loving. She's very loyal. She keeps to it, so on and so forth. Now, let's talk a little bit about the whole service animal part of this. Now, one of the first things I did, because Paranoid, he's the one that's kind of been helping me navigate this. He helped, I sent him the pictures of the tags. He had me look her over to see if we could find any markings. Him and I worked well together to figure out how to manage, or how to see if she got out and got loose. Because I understand the situation that for those of you that really care about your animals, you would feel really bad or feel really guilty if your dog got out and somebody else got your animal and didn't return it to you. That part I understand. But you've also got to realize that that not everybody is like you, and so therefore you're projecting your ideals, your point of view onto onto the previous owner, as if they are just like you. And the thing is most people aren't. An animal is an accessory. It's you love your animal, but you're very few people get as attached to their animals as some of these people do. They're like, oh, I can't believe I would never do this to a dog. Just because you wouldn't doesn't mean somebody else wouldn't. I mean, if you knew the amount of stray animals that are thrown out on a daily basis, you would probably have a different understanding. See, not everybody loves their animals the way that you do. Okay, so when I first got her, the first thing I did is I registered her as a service animal. Part of registering on it as a service animal is now she can go in and out of anywhere I go, and they can't stop me. Okay, this is probably one of the most important things that you can do if you're on the move like I am, to be able to keep and maintain your animal. Okay, but the thing is you're gonna be challenged at every time, so you should definitely know the rules and know the laws. She does not need a service vest. She does not need a service collar. There's nothing in there that says that she has to be trained. All that you really have to do, and this is mostly done on the honor system, is that you have to get her registered. And then when people ask you, because whenever I go in, like when I went into the library, they ask me, well, what is her service? What is her purpose? Because they're checking to make sure they're asking the right questions to make sure that I am legitimate about this. And so therefore, I have to explain to them, like, because of what I was doing in Cincinnati, I've just gone ahead and just called it seizures. But either way, I black out, and she acts as a counterbalance to me. When I get to that point, she distracts me enough. And she's already started doing it because of the amount of stress that's been going on between her and I, and getting acclimated, and also living in this environment and getting used to each other. I mean, she comes up and she gets in my face, and I go from being super anxious to being very calm, because now she's a distraction. And so therefore I just explained to him I have blackout seizures. She she gets in my face, and she kind of balances me out to keep me from going into a full blackout, which that's probably the most important thing that she can do for me. And she's kind of already started doing that, again, because of the amount of stress. My brain chemistry is so far off because of not only the loss of sleep, but the amount of stress of trying to train a dog, and then all the contention that I have to go through just to be able to bring her into a place. But once you give them the legitimate reason, and then also you show them the service animal registration, by law they cannot deny you entry. I got into, because I'm in Sanford right now, I got into it with a security guard, and he's like, well, she needs to, and I don't know if she can. And I'm like, well, do you really want to face penalties from the ADA? Because a service animal is protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act, and so therefore, because she's a service animal, I can actually even go up there and get a disabled ticket, which saves me about 50%. So that instead of paying $3 to get from Orlando to Sanford, I paid $1.50, which was a lot nicer. So now I know that I can travel around the Metroplex and do it for a reasonable price. I mean, $3 is $3, but $1.50 is always better. Okay, and so just with a service animal, you got to realize you can take it in with you, but they will kick you out if the dog jumps, nips, bites, lunges at another individual. So Sam has been really, really great, because when we first went into the library, we almost got kicked out. And I told her, I said, look, you're going to get us kicked out of the library. You need to calm down, and you need to fly right. And she all of a sudden, she understood what I was saying. And the second day we went into the library, they're like, yeah, she's so much better than the first day, because I have to work with her. I mean, every day, part of what we do is I'm making sure that she knows how to sit, how to lay down, stay, and to leave it alone. Those are the things that I'm working on with her right now, because every time somebody comes by, she wants to, oh, cool, somebody wants to pay attention to me, because she thinks she's the most important dog in the world, which she is to me, but not to anybody else. And, hey, whatever, dude. But anyways, yeah, somebody's playing their game over here. So, but anyways, when you're dealing with a dog, you've got to, especially when you're dealing with a service animal, you've got to know your rights. She's got to go to when I go into a bathroom, she's got to go with me. She's not allowed to leave my sight. That's part of the whole service animal, which benefits the both of us. But anyways, because I got somebody trying to blast me out with their phone, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Enjoy the extra footage, and I will see you in the next video. This is how you know if you've bonded with a dog. You see her leash isn't on. You see she's just laying here right beside me. I even took her to the park earlier today, let her off the leash. She chased some squirrels, but once she treed the squirrel, then she came right back to me, especially when I called her. So I don't really have to worry about her running off. And the other thing is, when sometimes I tie her up outside because I don't want to deal with her in the store, when I come back, even after like a minute or two of being in there, man, she's whining, and she's like worried that I'm not coming back. So she sees that I keep coming back. Even this morning when I had to run to the bathroom, I got to listen to her whine while I went to the bathroom, because technically with a service dog, you're supposed to take it in the bathroom with you, because they need to be with you 100% of the time. But I just don't want to bring a dog in the crapper with me. But yeah, I got to listen to her whine while I was in Burger King. So anyways, this is what it looks like when you got a dog that is loyal to you and looks at you as part of their pack. Sam is on her first train, even though it's a sunrail. She's doing really good. She's being a good puppy. Yes, she is. And then look at this. Yeah, all this, and this is probably one of the smooth. Sam, no. I give you compliments. It doesn't mean that you go and. These are commuter trains. There's the yard right down there. Sam, come on.
one thing to realize with the dog is that you want to kind of find off the way spots. We're still in Sanford, yes, but we are on the outskirts of a marshland, which is why you see me itching because of the mosquitoes. But also, as you see, she's not leashed. Leash is right there. So she's staying, this is her bed. So that woolly blanket I had was turned into her blanket. And she's got all this area here to run around. And she knows that she stays close. And that's the most important part, is that she needs to stay close to me. And she can go wherever she wants. Ain't that right, Missy? Except for birds and squirrels are her kryptonite. Did I say squirrel?